Hey there friends, it's Kate and welcome back to my channel, Golden State Educate. I am a 5th year, 2nd grade teacher here in Northern California, and in today's video, I'm gonna bring you along with me while I plan for the first week of school. So I thought it would be really interesting to film a plan with me for the first week of school because as we know, the first week of school is unlike any other week. There's a lot more get to know you games, a lot more like school tours. I'm getting to know the kids, they're getting to know me, and then they're also getting to know each other because it's a whole new class. I wanted to show you what our plans are looking like for the first week of 2nd grade. Normally during the school year, I have a lesson plan template that's really basic that I work off of, but for the first week of school, I always like to have a very explicit mapped out schedule. As you can see, I'm going minute by minute, hour by hour in these schedules, and I have it mapped out for all of the days. This year, we have a 4-day school week just for the first week of school. In the past, we had a 3-day week, so now I'm having to make a little bit more plans than I normally do. And as you'll see, our first day of school is a minimum day. Our second day of school will be a full day. And then Thursday is normally our school's minimum days, so that will be a minimum day again. And then on Friday, we'll have another full day. So that's Tuesday, minimum day, Wednesday, full day, Thursday, minimum day, and Friday, full day. So I am having to make quite a bit of plans. Our reading groups have not started yet. Our math groups won't be starting yet either. We do have PE the first week of school, so I'll have that time that you'll see. But a lot of the specials like art and music don't start right away. So I'm having a lot more time than I normally have. And that's kind of where we're gonna pack in all of those back to school activities. So let's get started. This will be the plan that I'm working off of very much minute to minute, hour by hour. And then I also have my first week of school slides. The slide deck is from Miss Melanie Munch or Mrs. Munch's Munchkins, I think. I get the slide template from her, but then all of the things on it I've added myself and they're all customizable. Would definitely recommend buying the template and then you can add or change things to make it work for you. All right, so I think I'm going to work off of these plans first. At least for me, it's kind of easier to just map it out and then go in and plug everything into the slideshow. But I'm also using these slides to kind of guide my planning as well, just to see what I did last year and in years before. So far what we have, if you can see this, let me zoom in so I can make it a little bit bigger. So we're gonna start off at 8:15. I will get my students from outside where they'll be lined up at the blacktop. We'll come inside and they will find their seat. I will already have all of their name tags on their seat for them. Have a name tag for their shirt and then they'll also have their name tags for their desk. So they'll come inside, I can help them find their name, but it's also kind of nice to just stand by the door and watch. You can learn a lot from your class just by watching how they interact or react to things or approach things on the first day. And I always kind of like to keep it chill. I'm helping them, welcoming them into the classroom, but I do like to keep just a watchful eye and see how they interact, who helps other kids find their name, who's a little bit shy, who can't find their name is always really interesting. So they'll come in and then they'll have a morning coloring page. And after this, I'm going to film a prep with me for the first week of school. So all of these activities that I'm talking about, I'll be showing you in that video. And then I'm also hoping to film a first week of school vlog. So you'll get to see me plan for it. You'll get to see me prep those activities. And then hopefully you'll also get to see me teach it in real time. Or I'll like recap the end of the days. At 8:15, I'm going to, for the first time, ring my bell. And once I ring my bell, we're going to practice putting our hands on our head. Then we'll practice coming to the carpet. We're actually not going to circle up. Practice coming to the carpet, and they all will have a carpet spot. I don't think I'm going to give them assigned carpet spots just yet because I don't know them yet. I'll give them assigned desk spots, but those can change, and then I'll just let them sit wherever they want on the first day. On the first day, we'll practice our carpet signals, bathroom, question, I agree, and then a water sign. So we'll go through these. Once we do our carpet signals, we will practice our class family promise for the first time. Let me toggle back and show you that. Here's our class family promise. I got this promise from my mentor teacher in student teaching. They had a similar one, but I've added it and changed it a little bit just to customize it for my classroom. So we will read this together, say this together, and by the end of the year, we say it every single day, so they will have it memorized. And I always give them a pep talk about our class family. I always tell them that they were put in this classroom on purpose. I always tell them that we put them together on purpose and I am their teacher on purpose for a reason. And it's our job to make this the best class that we can, and it's our job to make this year the best that we can be. It's always like a really passionate speech, and the kids always get really into it. They love to feel like special. And this is a reoccurring theme that I'll kind of come back to throughout the course of the year. But this is just our first day, so we will have our class promise. After our class promise, we're gonna go into our morning meeting. So when we start our morning meeting, I ask them a couple questions like, what is a meeting? Why would people have a meeting? And have you ever done a morning meeting before? I just like to get them talking, and these are the first few questions that we have. Normally they say like a meeting is a group of people, you know, who meets, like, you know, business people, or my mom and dad have meetings. People have meetings to talk about important things. So we'll talk about how our morning meeting in class is a way for all of us to meet together and also talk about important things. So after we discuss these 3 questions, our first thing will be going around the circle and saying good morning to whatever the person's name is. So all the kids will say, you know, my name is Kate, and we'll all say good morning, Kate. After we've all gone around and said good morning to everybody, our sharing activity will be my name is blank and my favorite animal is blank. So I would say my name is Kate and my favorite animal is an elephant. Really quick. After that, we'll play a game of stand up, sit down. So it gets them moving, so they're not sitting for too long, especially at the beginning of 2nd grade. They're only 7 years old, so I don't want them sitting for too terribly long. And here is what that will look like. So we'll have this up on the screen, stand up, sit down, and it's really simple. It's just, you know, stand up if you have a cat. If you don't have a cat, you stay seated. And then stand up if you have a sister. If you don't have a sister, you'd stay seated. Stand up if you have a brother, and so on. I'll have these linked. It looks like they are Sprinkle It with French on TPT, so I'll have these linked below, and we will just play a few of these. It's nice for the kids to just see what they have in common with their peers or what they have in common with me. It's always a fun talking point, especially on the first day. Once we play stand up, sit down, we'll do our first brain break of the year. I always just pull brain breaks from YouTube. So this is a YouTube brain break, would you rather, back to school edition. So this is a good one, a nice 5 minutes for them to get their wiggles out. Once they get their wiggles out, we will do our first attention getter. Actually, our second attention getter. The first one will be the doorbell, and the second one will be the my turn, your turn chant from Mrs. Call's Campers. I've been using this for the last few years, and it is amazing. Highly recommend. So we'll talk about who's the speaker and who's the listener. The role of the speaker is telling you something important. Most of the time it'll be me. And the role of the listeners, most of the time they will be the listeners. The role of the listeners is to listen to the speaker actively. So looking at them. And this is just how the chant goes. So we'll practice this probably 3 times through, but every time we practice it during the first couple weeks of school, I always have it on the board for them to refer back to. So that'll be our first time going through that. The next activity is going to be an all about your teacher. And I have created a Kahoot, which is all about me. I don't have them get on their computers for Kahoot. I just have them like, raise your hand if you think it's A, raise your hand if you think it's B. And it's just a cute way for them to get to know me. Let me see. Yeah, so I have the all about your teacher activity and then the all about me game. And then we practice going back to our seats responsibly and using our school tools responsibly as well. And then they get to fill out an all about you page. I used to use a page that was similar to this, but I'm actually going to be using this page instead this year. I found that too many questions can be very overwhelming for 2nd grade. So keeping it simple with a smaller area for them to work on is really nice. I actually might take pictures of them and put them there instead, because these will be hung up for back to school night, which is in a couple of weeks, so I haven't decided yet. Sometimes kids get really stressed out drawing a picture of themselves, but we'll see. We will talk about how to use actually we don't need scissors for that, so we'll talk about how to use our pencils responsibly and how to use our crayons responsibly. And then after that, we will clean up our tables, and that will bring us into recess. So recess expectations, they will have recess for 20 minutes, and then at 10:30, they will come inside and we will practice coming back to the carpet. And then we get to my favorite first day activity, you guys. I'm so excited. I've done this the last 2 years and it has been perfect because I can really scaffold it out and make it take a long time or short time, and it's really nice for the kids. It's the first year I did it, it was really chaotic because I gave them all the pieces at once, and then now you'll see how I've scaffolded it out. So we're going to read the school's first day of school. It's the cutest book, and I know that none of the first grade teachers read it. So here it is. It's basically the first day of school from the perspective of the school. So we'll talk about, we know that this is a fictional book because schools are not real. Schools can't have feelings, but if they did have feelings, what might some of those feelings be? How could the school's feelings be similar or different to ours? So I'll read school's first day of school, and then we will make a chart about how we felt today, if we were nervous or unhappy or excited or scared. Normally there's at least one kid that fits into all of these sections, and we talk about how no matter what you're feeling, it's okay to have whatever feelings you're feeling. Then we'll practice going back to our seats. All of these are very explicit, like this will be up on the board because I think it's really important for me to have the reminder and also for the kids to just constantly be reminded of these routines. We're not just running from the carpet. We're not keeping our chairs out. We're pushing in our chairs. We're coming to the carpet. So once we get to our seat, we will again practice using our tools responsibly to create the cutest first day of school craft. So this activity is from TPT. It's perfect because there are questions that I've put through on each page to stop and have the kids talk to each other. So I love having these activities in particular just because you don't have to think about the questions. They're already set for you. And then it also came with this really cute craft. So these are all the tools that we will practice using at our desk. Obviously not all at once, but slowly. And then I kind of broke up the craft and I give them just small amounts of the craft at a time. So I'll give them this piece, which is the school, and I'll give them probably like 5 to 7 minutes to color it however they want. Once that 5 to 7 minutes is up, I'll say, you can do this later, but we're gonna move on to the next step. Next step is doors, and then the school sign. So I say, choose one. You can either choose these doors or these doors. So they're not cutting out too many things and they're not overwhelming their craft. I have cut up the project a little bit and then re-glued it and reprinted it. So it's just a little bit more kid-friendly. They were very overwhelmed with all of the choices several years ago, so I find this works best. Second pieces, our third pieces will be to choose the windows. The fourth pieces will choose special objects. And then finally, they will glue it all together. If they finish it, they will work on their back to school packet as their early finisher, but normally it does take quite a bit of time. And then I let them go home with this craft. I normally hang up all of our crafts for quite a while, but I like having something for them to bring home and show their parents right away, especially on the first day. At that point, we will practice cleaning up. So these are all of the other activities I put on the first day a couple of years ago, like a classroom tour, but I noted that I didn't get to this. And then a classroom scavenger hunt, but again, I noted that I didn't get to this. And then this extra filler, read aloud if I wanted to, which is the day you begin, but I also didn't get to this last year. So I'm just gonna go ahead and skip these slides. If for some reason we have more time, I'll put them, but I always like to over plan instead of under plan. Once we have done our craft, we will pack up and kind of have a closing circle, see how we feel at the end of the day, and also talk about how we're going to get home, and I will take them out. And that will be the first day. So here are these plans. This is all complete. And then the only thing that I really have to get working on prepping is our morning coloring page. and then also printing out our All About Me flag, and then also putting together our school's first day of school craft pieces. So you will see me do that in the next vlog. And we'll move on to the second day. So for the second day, when they come in, they will still have their same first week of school coloring packet. Or if for some reason they didn't finish the first day of school's first day of school craft, they will finish that. And then we'll jump into our morning routine, which is our calendar, attendance, our days in school. And then we will start our welcoming activity. So I always did this on the first day, but doing this activity and doing this activity and doing the All About Me flag was way too much, and kids never finished the school craft. So I just narrowed it down to the All About Me flag and the school craft and saved this for the second day this year. So our welcoming activity will be discussing and making a chart about how it feels to be welcome, why it's important to be welcoming, and then how they can make others feel welcome at school. I usually give the example of, what if they walked in the classroom and I was sitting here like this, just looking at all of them? And they would say, I would feel scared. I would feel nervous. I would say, what did I do to help you feel welcomed? I was waving at them. I was smiling at them. I seemed happy. I was engaging them in conversation. So we'll talk about that. This always is such a good conversation. I feel like second grade is such a sweet age because they are old enough to be having kind of conversations like this. And it always is so, so sweet. So let me show you what this is looking like so far. When they come in, they'll have these two activities, either work on their flag or work on their packet. We will review our doorbell. So I ring the bell, they put their hands on their head and look at me and listen for instructions. We will practice cleaning up our areas and coming to the carpet. We will do our calendar, attendance, our days in school, and our schedule. We will once again do our class family promise, which they can read off of. And then we will talk about being welcoming, like I just said. So these are our questions that will be on the board. And then we'll read all our welcome here. Discussion question after the reading will be, how did you feel about coming to school today? Did you feel better today? Did you feel the same as yesterday? And then we will jump into yet another brain break. After our brain break, we will circle up for our morning meeting. And this time our morning meeting is going to be just a little bit more interactive than the one before. We're still gonna practice saying everybody's name. My name is Kate. Good morning, Kate. My name is Michelle. Good morning, Michelle. And then this time our sharing question will be how we're feeling, but using the weather to describe our emotions, which is I always can learn so much about kids based on like what weather they choose. There's always a kid who's like, I feel like a hurricane. And he's like, wow. And I'm like, yes, buddy. I can tell. And then our activity will be find someone who. Again, I'll have all of these activities linked in my next video as I go ahead and start prepping them. But the find someone who is really nice. They get to practice using clipboards and they get to go around and meet different friends by asking them questions. So let's say you walk up to someone and you say, Susan, do you have a pet dog? Susan would say, yes, I do have a pet dog. And then Susan would sign her name in the box that says they have a dog. Then you'd go over to someone else. Michael, do you have a pet cat? Michael would say, no, I don't have a pet cat. So you'd have to go find somebody else who does have a pet cat until you fill out all the boxes or until the timer is up. I normally give them like 15 or 20 minutes for this. There's always kids who are like, can we save it for later? But we're not doing this over multiple days. So we'll see how long it takes. This is the part where I'm not used to having a full day on the second day of school. So I'm kind of trying to flesh this part out still. So I actually just realized the second day of school is a Wednesday and I have PE on Wednesdays. So I just filled like a whole 50-minute chunk of time, which is really exciting. So I think we should probably do a school tour. This day we're gonna have PE. We're also going to have lunch. And I'm going to show them like where their science class is because they won't be in here with me and a few other things. So I think it's really important for us to do a school tour. I also really want my principal to come read our school as a family. So maybe I'll see if he can come read that for us, or maybe I'll record a video of him reading it for us. So we can either do that before or after the school tour. But I like to give lots of time for the school tour because we also practice walking in a line, practice waving to people instead of saying hi to them with our mouths. So I think we'll probably do a school tour. Then we'll have recess. We'll go straight to recess from the tour, have recess expectations and go out to recess. And then we have PE right after recess, which is beautiful. So they'll have PE from 10:30 to 11:20, and then I will go outside and get them and then practice walking back from PE. We have lunch at 12:25. So I want to do lunch expectations at 12:15. And at 12:25, we're gonna do lunch. So I need to decide what's gonna go in between. I think we'll do our classroom tour, because at this point, they usually have a lot of questions about what's going on in our classroom. And then from 11:45 to maybe 11:50 to 12:10, 20 minutes. Yeah, we can do 11:45 to 12:10. I'll have them do the classroom scavenger hunt. I think that will be a perfect time filler. We'll go from school tour to recess, from recess to PE, from PE to class tour, from class tour to class scavenger hunt, from class scavenger hunt to lunch. So that's our biggest chunk of time. From recess to lunch is our biggest time. So having a lot of activity and a lot of movement, I think will be awesome for them. Because then at 1:10, they'll come inside from lunch and we'll practice coming to the carpet again. So we have to fill from 1:10 to 2:35. And I always have the class family, our class is a family book. We always do that. And that does take quite a bit of time. So I think we're gonna plug that in right here. So we're gonna practice coming to the carpet, do the attention getters again, my turn, your turn again. So from 1:20 to 1:40, I'll read our class as a family. And then our questions are, what rules do you have at home? How are your rules at home different or similar to rules at school? From 1:40 to 2, we will make our class rules. It's hard because I always call this a class promise, but we also have our class family promise, which is different. So maybe I'll just call it our class rules. And then our school rules, I want them to line up with our class rules. So let me see. So we have, we can make our list of classroom rules, our class is a family, and then we always discuss our school rules. So our school rules are responsible, respectful, and safe. And then my biggest rule is being ready to learn. So I think last year we plugged in the rules based on these things, but I think this year we'll create a whole pact of rules and then maybe highlight like this one's responsible, this one's respectful, this one's safe, just so it's a little bit less like, it's structured without being like forced. I want us to make it organically first and then kind of figure out how it fulfills these things. Perfect. So we're gonna make our class rules and then we will talk about how we can follow one of these rules. I usually give the sentence stem like, I think it's important to be safe. I can be safe by blah, blah, blah. Just like 2 or 3 quick sentences. I always say at least 2 and I'll help them write them, but it's always fun to see like which kids want to go and be above and beyond. And I normally start writing down notes like that, just to have, just to have some knowledge of what kids I'm going to want to put where and in what group, because we don't start groups the first week, but we do start it the second week. So it's always nice to know like who can write, who can follow the rules, who's really good at math, who might need some help. So all of this is, I'm always looking at that. So I'll have to move the slides around a little bit, but we'll make our class rules. And then at 2 o'clock, we'll do a quick brain break. Gotta put those in or else I will forget. And the kids will show me that they need it. That first writing about class rules. And then at 2:35, we'll pack up and do our closing circle again and do our end of the day feelings. it's pretty much good to go now with everything set. There's a couple of holes, but I also know that we might have like an expectations talk. Sometimes we have like a whole assembly where our principal talks about like grade level expectations that he has for everybody. So I wanted to leave some holes. Here's our third day. First day is done, second day is done. Third day will also be a minimum day. So we'll have our morning routine. Again, coming in, we have our morning activities of coloring or catch-up work. At this point, we'll have a few activities that we will have started, so they can work on one of those. We'll have our morning routine where we do attendance, calendar, and schedule. Our morning meeting will be practicing whole body listening. We'll wave to each person. Hopefully we know their names so we can just say good morning, whoever, and wave to them. Their sharing activity will be one thing that they did this summer. And then our activity will be 4 corners. I used to always say game, but sometimes morning meeting is not game based. Sometimes it's an activity. So I don't want to say game anymore. I just want to say activity. So here is that. And then I'll also link Grades and Grace made all of these 4 corners activities. So it's really fun. They get to decide, instead of getting out like 4 corners normally is, this time it's like choosing what they like and going to that corner. So I really like this approach to 4 corners instead of like, oh, you're in that corner, you're out. It's more of just like another way for kids to see what they have in common with each other. So we'll do 4 corners, and then I have this chunk of time. It's like 40 minutes. So we might do another craft. We might do another book. We might have the expectations talk. I'm not exactly sure. So we'll see what we want to do for that. Then we'll have recess, practice coming back to the carpet again, do my turn, your turn again. And then we'll read, have you filled a bucket today? I like to call us a bucket filling classroom. And this is a term that I use throughout the year. So you're either bucket filling or bucket dipping. And sometimes when someone is doing something that is an unexpected behavior or a unwanted behavior, it's really nice throughout the year to just say like, are you being a bucket filler or a bucket dipper right now? And most of the time the kid will say, I'm being a bucket dipper. And I'll say, how can you stop dipping and start filling? And then they'll tell me what they can do. So this is an amazing book. We will discuss what it means to have a full bucket and what it feels like when someone dips into ours. And then I have all of these scenario cards that I got from TPT, and I will give every kid will have their own scenario, and we will glue them onto a chart of either bucket filling or bucket dipping. And then all the kids that had bucket dipper cards will compare their cards. All the kids that have bucket fillers will compare theirs. And then one of each will pair up with each other and talk about their cards. So just a lot of discussing. I really want to hit this home. And then we'll make this really cute craft. The kids will put their name on their own bucket and then fill it with different ways that they can be bucket fillers. And it's perfect because we already made the chart with all the bucket fillers. So they will just write the bucket fillers that are already on the chart. I'll probably differentiate this. I might have some that are already sentence stem based, that the sentence stems are already written, just because I know some kids will need that. So I will have those available. And then again, since this is a minimum day, after we have our bucket filler activity, I ended up printing these out already. After we do our bucket filler, we will pack up and talk about how we get home and go home. Into the 4th day. 4th day, again, is a big full day, but we have a lot of activities that are preset. So we'll come inside, do our same routine. This time our sharing will be our favorite part about school or our favorite subject, and we will do our All About Me bags. Inside the All About Me bag, I will have 3 or 4 things that symbolize me, and I will show them what's in the bag. And then on Friday, they will take home their own bags. So that way, during the first full week of school, our morning activity will be 3 kids or 4 kids sharing every day their bags. So they will have that and they'll know what it looks like. We will do a brain break, and then we're going to do our first math lesson. Our first math lesson is a friends of 10. So simple addition from 0 to 10. We have a chart. They get to make their own chart. And then I have a bunch of friends of 10 worksheets and games that we'll do. We'll see how much we get to on Friday. But whatever we don't get to on Friday, we will do on Monday of the next week. We will practice lining up to leave the classroom and do our recess expectations. Come back in from recess, do our my turn, your turn chant one more time. We are gonna do the lion inside. Our school mascot is a lion, so I always read the lion inside, and then we make our own lion craft. Again, I like to do super step by step, so they get to color and cut their lion. And then we practice folding the piece in half and pinching it and counting to 10. So they're like little loops. And then we glue them on the back. And then it's good to go. So that's a really cute craft. It takes a little bit longer just because you have to glue all of the pieces, but it always turns out really cute. After we do our lion craft, we're gonna practice using our Chromebooks for the first time. So they'll get their own Chromebook and we'll practice logging into Clever, and then we'll probably do Epic and Raz-Kids because those are the apps that they're gonna be the most familiar with, so I'll let them do those. After that, we will go to lunch and talk about lunch expectations. After lunch, we have a random 45, 50-minute chunk of time again, so we'll see what we end up doing to fill that. After that, we will potentially have extra recess in there, maybe not. I'm not, again, sure what this will be. And then we'll practice free choice. I won't give them all of the free choice activities. I'll probably just do like Legos, coloring, and like Jenga, some like team building type of games, but I'm not gonna give them like the Play-Doh and like all of the things. And then after that, we will clean up free choice and go home. So that is, hopefully this wasn't too long of a video. We'll see when I'm actually editing it, but that is all the plans that I have for the first 4 days. I will have all of these plans for free on my Google Drive. You can just make a copy if you want to edit them, but they will be linked in my Google Drive. The link is always down below. I tried to put like free resources or things that I create in there because I don't have a TPT, but anything basic and simple like this is right up my alley. So if you want this, they will be there. I will also have an Amazon link to all of the first day of school books that I'll be reading. I also have all of these books as well that are either going to be read during the first week or I'll be trying to read them during the second week. Oh my gosh, I forgot about this activity. Okay, we have to do this activity. I'll put this in. This is gonna be the activity. See, this is why I need to look through my books. This is the one where it says our class needs you. So I'm gonna have all of their names on a chart and it's going to be what they can do to help our class, or it'll be what they can do or what they want to learn this year. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this, but that will fill one of those 50-minute blocks. So I'll make sure to put that in. So all these books will be linked on my Amazon. All of this will be linked in the description box below, but I hope this was helpful for you. I know the first week of school can be very intimidating, especially in primary where we have to teach all of those routines and we are, you know, they're still really little people and they're getting used to being back in a classroom environment, but I'm really excited. I hope it goes well. I always love the first day of school. Like, it always gets me so excited. After this video, you will see a prep with me for the first week of school. So prepping all of the crafts, prepping all of my classroom things, bins and caddies and labels and everything. And then after that, the next video will be hopefully the first week of school vlog, or at least the first day of school. I'm not sure how much I'll get, but hopefully some. And I am so excited for this school year. If you have any video recommendations or suggestions, please leave them down below so I can see them. I would love to get up any videos that you want to see. I love sharing information with you guys, so make sure you put those down below. If you aren't already, make sure to follow me on Instagram. It's just Golden State Educate. I'm trying to post on there a lot more, so if you want to be caught up with day-to-day activities, make sure to follow me there. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.